Hello and welcome back to Season 2, new podcast. Harold, No Splinters, back again.
Back again, it's a rebrand though, Harv.
Yeah,
rebrand,
yeah.
New theme tune, new leader, I would say.
New leader, yeah.
Captain of the ship.
Yeah. Never leave a man behind and all that, so...
coming back, swimming, paddling behind you.
Yeah, well,
how's things?
Yeah, very good, mate. We've been working hardly working, all that jazz, but we've been meaning to this for a while.
I know, you've been pestering me for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, the fans have wanted it, you've wanted it back. I've passed the, I don't know what the word is, the buck over to you, Annie. You're the leader now, you're the main man in charge, so obviously, I'm playing second fiddle to you, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see what happens from here. But
some would say rightly so, some would disagree. But no, I think we've got enough to cover over the next few months. Obviously, a late Premier League finish as well. Plenty to go at. Got cricket round the corner as well. We've had rugby. We've had all sorts on the go. So
that was it. Twickenham for me this weekend.
Yeah, so.
What about you? What have you been up to?
What have I been up to? I've been...
Cup.
been bunkering down, obviously supporting Leeds, grown a beard, proper beard.
If anyone's on YouTube and on video, they can see this.
It's getting a bit out of hand.
Into that mic. I mean, you don't need the foam thing on the end.
It's getting out of hand, mate. But no, I saw you with Eddie Jones out, Eddie Jones in, doing the hokey cokey.
I'm Eddie Jones in, I'm Eddie Jones out. But we can leave. I feel like the rugby chat.
Yeah, the rugby's parked for another day.
Go on then, mate.
Yeah. So we'll start with the Premier League. I think.
Is that where we're going?
I think we'll start there and sort of meander in. Obviously, it's got a lot to cover, given that we've been away for maybe 8 months. Season 2 back with a bang.
It's longer than 8 months.
I think it's a long while. Yeah, I think it's too long. So no, we've built up some good momentum over the last couple of years, and it's time to bring it back. Given that the festive season's round the corner, we want to spread some cheer about and talk some football. So, Premier League. No better place to start than the top.
Not where Liverpool are.
No, I mean, some would say coincidentally the podcast did drop off in the drop of the demise of the mighty Klopp.
Yeah, life has moved on a bit in the last few years. But yeah, I mean, you want to go with City. I feel like if you're going to start at the top, you go with City and Arsenal.
I was going to start with Arsenal. Really, I think City are a bit boring.
I mean, yeah, they're the two at the top. Yeah, I mean, Arsenal, they're flying high.
Yeah.
Big Danny Mullins team. The Gunners, mate. I mean, can't fault them for sticking with Arteta. He's obviously stuck to Arteta. I mean, a couple of years ago, I said Arteta out. I thought that was it. We always said good manager, sort of young manager in the sense of managerial perspective. But yeah, good young team. Obviously, the likes of... Well, I mean, Saliba at the back looks like an absolute beast. I mean,
he looked good.
I think you're having a good centre back, just like when Liverpool brought in Van Dijk. It's like it kind of makes a big difference, doesn't it? On a good team. I remember when City brought in Laporte, and obviously they did have company before that. But yeah, good centre back at the back, and obviously a lot of young talent. I mean, Saka, which we'll talk about later, because he scored 2 today, following on from the England-Iran result earlier on, which Saka was exceptional in. Yeah, they're obviously. You look at Martinelli, Saka. I mean, Jesus looks like a good signing, although I do think it's been overrated.
Who, Jesus? Overrated? No, I don't think so. I think he looked. Having seen him live, he looked sharp. Obviously, he's dropped off the goals a little bit, but I think he'll do well in this World Cup. I think a break in season and sort of going back to the national team and playing with other players around, maybe just gets his creative juices flowing again. But I can fully expect him to be near the top of the goal scoring charts come the end of the season. I think he's got 9 already.
Nah, he's not that. I think he's on about 5 in the Prem.
Right, 9 in all competitions, maybe. I don't know, somewhere along the lines.
Cups and in the Europa League,
well, you win them a lot, so
we don't
means a lot to you. The Mickey Mouse Cups,
mate, we win Champions League,
once.
Thursday night and 5.
It's done Arsenal no harm at all, and you look at the obviously Haaland signing. I was obviously a big fan of Haaland back in the day. Not 3 years. No, not trying to be one of them blokes that said I knew he was going to be good. I just used to like his how he played in Dortmund. No, I don't think I did.
You might have.
No, we can try. Given that I've seen you try and set this podcast up, you can try and find the tape and
podcast.
Yeah, no, well, it's an even ship, mate. We're a pirate ship, There's no the captain may steer, but we're all equal in this podcast. So no, I think obviously you look towards mid-table. I think Brighton losing Potter was interesting for to see how they got on. They got another bloke in who looks to sort of play a similar style of play. I know he got his first win, ironically, against Chelsea at home. And then you look at sort of the demise of Wolves. I think it's interesting what's happened there. They've obviously been unlucky with injuries. And then you've got sort of Forest, who've signed every player they could. And I'll be interested to see how, now they've got time together over the 6 weeks, how they come back into it. Fulham look absolutely fine this year. Mitrovic scoring in the Prem, which is, this was always the sort of the enigma of Mitrovic. He looks an absolute world beater in the Championship, but he never did it in the Prem. But I think actually now he looks like the sort of player that Fulham thought they were going to get the year they went down. And then you sort of look at the signing of Pereira as well. I think they've done really well recruitment-wise. And then obviously plucky Bournemouth sort of surprised a few teams. I think they've been found out now. Leicester were down there, sort of coming back up now. I think they kept 3 or 4 clean sheets on the bounce, Leicester, something like that, and they've gone back up the league. I think for me, if you look at the bottom, I think I'd be interested to see how Bournemouth play out with a new manager, whether they just tail off and sort of come back down. I think it's very tight in there. Villa, my mate Stevie G, your mate Stevie G, he's got the old tic-tac and he's gone, and they've got who have they got now?
Unai.
Good evening. So they got Unai Emery. I'll be interested to see how they play. I think the players just down ship. There was definitely something that went on in the dressing room, because the minute he left, they went out and slapped someone 3-0. So that was that. And then Brentford, I think they might have just been caught out a little bit this season, Brentford.
That's sat 10th, mate.
Yeah.
I mean, Ivan Toney, he's coming back off beating Manchester City.
Well, Ivan Toney, he's in a bit of bother.
2-1. Yeah, I mean, he's probably the only man with the worst Sky bet.
Well, I wish I had his bank account to bet with, put it that way. But no, he's in some hot water, and I'll be interested to see how that plays out, whether they go and sign another striker, because I think the precedent's set for I think he's in for a long ban. Whether he's guilty or not, obviously we don't know yet. But
I'd say you've got to highlight. I think for me, picking out the Premier League, for touching on that, I think there's 3 highlight or lowlights, I guess, main point for me. I think firstly it's Newcastle. I think that is the success story, and one thing I'm not having is the money. I'm not having it.
No, I don't. I think obviously but you got to look. They have spent money. Joe Linton, 50 million from the German league.
Years ago.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, Almiron was a big signing. From Atlanta, and MLS 25 million. But it just shows how bad Steve Bruce is.
Yeah, but look at their foundations of their success. Their foundation of their success is based on their defence. I mean, look at
and they signed a very expensive defender in the summer window. But no, I think Pope's been a brilliant signing.
British transfers, like Pope had gone down. Trippier was, I think he was on a free, or he was on very cheap.
I don't think Trippier's free. I think he's on a big wage.
He might be, but he's still on a free. I mean, he's an exceptional signing, probably the signing of the season. You'd look at.
Yeah, I think
even though I've got a favoured right back, I mean, he's definitely the form right back in the league without doubt. But Newcastle, all credit to Newcastle.
Palace as well.
What he's done over there is exceptional. Eddie Howe, who was always going to be destined for a good manager. I think he's probably doing too well now to take the England job when it comes around. But I wouldn't want him an England job. That'll be tough when it goes. But obviously, you could look at. I'd say secondly, it's difficult now. But you demise and putting them together of Chelsea and Liverpool. So 2 multiple cup finalists last year. Obviously, Liverpool, Chelsea went at it in the Prem. Went at it in the Chelsea didn't go at it in the Prem. They teetered off, didn't they? But obviously, League Cup and FA Cup. I mean, what's gone wrong? I think you've got to say Chelsea's. You can kind of get Liverpool a bit more. I think from last year, the success they had in terms of so close, like they were so close to perfection, and you can kind of understand an aging side. Like, you can understand it, from my perspective, a little bit. I'm not saying where they are, but for Chelsea, it's an absolute... Like, they look awful. They're playing awful.
Yeah.
They spent a lot of money.
And, Potter had a great start, but I think it was just papering over the cracks. And actually, you look at the size of their squad. I mean, their squad's huge, and they've got to start looking at who they want to keep and who they want to sort of shift on and sort of refine their identity a bit. Obviously, signing Aubameyang was a bit of a panic buy, but he's going to score you goals in League Cups and in your European competitions. But I think Chelsea will come good because they're just Chelsea way is just to throw money at it, and if you can throw money at it, you'll always compete in the Premier Premier League, as Liverpool found out when they sort of needed a striker. They signed Nunes for close to 80 million, was it? They signed Van Dijk for a lot of money. You know, these teams, to compete at that level, you have to spend money. And the proof's in the pudding, really. You look at Man City, they go and buy Haaland, and lo and behold, he's tearing the league up. And then, you know, Jesus to Arsenal, 50 million. He's helped them a lot. Ben White, you know, he's having a good season for Arsenal. But I think we interlude that nicely into our favourite American at the minute, Jesse Marsh. I tell you what, if you've got a dodgy ticker, don't have a season ticket at Ellen Road at the minute.
How's it going?
Not good. No, I feel like I'm still not convinced by him. Whether
Even
that
after your Anfield performance.
Yeah, but I mean the Anfield performance, don't get me wrong, it was great. Loved to see it, but then we make it.
You know, prawn sandwiches, weren't you?
Yeah, I was at Anfield second season in a row. You know, when you're in a esteemed level in life, you get invited to these places, you know, and wave at the poor people down below. That's our joke, obviously, for the snowflakes listening. No, I got invited across and had a full 5-star treatment, and the icing on the cake was a last-minute winner at Anfield, which, you know, the first thing on my mind was to celebrate, obviously, on the Anfield Road stand. Couldn't keep it in, was jumping about, and then the second thing was thinking about your face. Couldn't stop celebrating, mate.
Okay.
But the second sort of sat there with my nice bottle of Chablis, was just thinking about how much you would have hated that. I think that brought me just as much.
You said I was on the invite list.
You were about 4th or 5th reserve, mate. Because I'll be honest, last time I went we got slapped, so I thought, well, I don't want to ruin this nice evening having to listen to you gloat. But it backfired a bit because it would have been sweet justice. But
I know my place in life. Second best, as always.
No, I think, but I mean, we're going to Leeds aren't out the woods at any point. I think we need to spend some money. Bamford's crocked. The defence is still shambolic. You know, Bournemouth was scoring at will in the first half of that game. I don't think Phillips. I think the midfield's all right. I just think that you know, we've got an aging sort of defence, and you know, we've not got a left back. Meslier has come on again, leaps and bounds, but he was unlucky not to make the France squad. Actually, I thought third choice keeper.
Man, I can't believe it.
Areola.
You are talking sunshine.
You know,
Meslier is diabolical.
Is he?
Absolutely.
Well, he looked all right at Anfield.
Yeah, you can have a good game as a goalkeeper, but I mean, mistake after mistake.
Yeah, name me 5 mistakes he's made in the last sort of this season.
Well, you want a keeper to make less than 5 mistakes.
Well, I think, you know, you've got to think we've got one of the worst defences in the league. You're going to concede. It doesn't matter how good you are. You can have a brick wall in there. It's going to get broken at some point. But anyway, and then we had a good effort against Spurs. I think Spurs. They're a weird team. I've seen Spurs a few times this year, and they're just so hit and miss. You know, we should have probably won the game, given that we went ahead 3 times. Kane scored a dubious goal. VAR didn't look at that. You know, I give up talking about VAR. But yeah, I mean,
especially after the England one today.
Yeah, I mean, even the Qatar one yesterday. But look, Everton finish on. My mate Lampard, the rumour, you want to hear the rumour mill, which will really break my heart?
Go on, let's hear it.
Apparently Lampard might be on the ropes, given that they lost at Bournemouth before the World Cup.
There's no doubt about it, mate. They're sat in 17th position.
The downside is a certain Marcelo Bielsa.
He's off to Everton, is he?
He's turned down the Bournemouth job, which isn't good, which means someone else might be after him. And if you look at the profile of the clubs he goes to, Everton fits everything in terms of a traditional working class club, big fan base, good squad, play good football, what they used to, not under him. I mean, he's Sean Dyche 2.0. He's Sean Dyche with a Turkish haircut. But you know, have you seen his ball patch?
No, I've seen it a little bit. I mean, are you being harsh or not? I mean, there was a point of the season where I thought Frank might just about get it. Obviously, yeah.
I mean, I want him to stay in the job as long as possible, because obviously the more points they drop, the better it is for us down there. But the Everton owner probably will pull the trigger at some point, and I just hope they don't get Bielsa, because
you sacked him.
Yeah, all right, mate. It's a double-edged sword. It would be funny that Lampard, the one guy that he was just rent-free in his head, was Bielsa. So he gets sacked and Bielsa gets his job. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have no time for Lampard. And it's funny to see Everton fans actually hate him.
Except from the one Everton fan that found his way into Sheikh's Palace yesterday.
Yeah, but he's a legend.
Get off, the little tiger.
He's I don't know if anyone saw this, but him and his dad were looking for a bevy, as he said on TalkSport, and a Land Cruiser came, picked him up in the desert. Some would say that probably not your best judgment. However, he said he was a sheikh, and he willingly jumped in this Land Cruiser and ended up at the Sheikh's palace playing with tigers and monkeys and having a bevy, as he put.
Having a bevy, exactly. Sums up that situation.
Yeah, I mean, where do we start with the World Cup?
Well, where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the football, or do you want to start with the opinionated stuff?
Well, I mean, the thing is, right, the FIFA documentary at the minute on Netflix, if you've got any inclination or...
I watched 2 episodes.
Yeah, if you know, breaking news, the world is corrupt. Power and money do rule the roost. I think you're absolutely living in cloud cuckoo land if you don't think these things go on in any sort of business, whether that be football or politics. And politics use football as a vessel. Given the Saudis are now in charge at Newcastle, given that sort of Man City sport wash and all that, but I think
you've got Man City from Abu Dhabi.
Yeah,
you've got
the Qataris and PSG. Yeah,
you know what I mean. I mean, hopefully Liverpool's getting into Dubai.
Yeah, I think, but it's the moral dilemma, isn't it? As a Liverpool fan, would you turn a, Liverpool?
Which is socialist views of the club that don't align to the thing. But I just think it's hypocrisy, mate. I mean, you listen to the likes of Alex Scott today, who says
but she's a moron.
The easy decision would have been to stay at home.
Yeah, what are you doing there, pal?
Yeah, exactly. Why am I here? Well, you're here for money. I mean, she wasn't moaning when she was sat in Dubai on holiday 3 times a year, putting up pictures saying that she didn't want to go to a country that gay people don't feel safe. I mean, she's happy going to Dubai. It's just the classic hypocrisy of the situation from people all around the globe, mate, who want to slate it and criticise Qatar. And I'm not saying for a second that this stuff is correct, but like, they're happy enough enjoying their holiday in Dubai.
Yeah, and the Russia World Cup and all that. I mean,
you look at it, and I just think it's an excuse to beat people with because they don't like them.
Well, I mean, it's very apt way of dealing with things in Qatar, by all means, is to beat people. Anyway, but I think for me personally, I think the LBGT, I don't know, Q plus, whatever, it get changes every day. That should be a non-issue in the 21st century. And I think actually, if you read what the Qataris saying, is it's not part of their culture. But if you look back, the 1966 World Cup in London, homosexuality was illegal.
It is a different time now. And
but what I'm saying is...
but you're not comparing apples to apples. I mean, there's no one who's sitting in the world who's going to say that it's acceptable. I mean, there's 8 teams, obviously, in the World Cup who, I mean, that homosexuality is gay. Iran and Saudi Arabia, 2 of them. But yeah, I think there's been a few points raised that where the Western society brings their moral compass. And I mean, it's not too long ago that obviously, the British forces were illegally torturing Iraqi innocent civilians, and you know what I mean. I just feel like there's this.
No country's immune.
The Western society.
The world's a nasty place. There's no country's immune. Everyone's got some sort of questionable foreign policy or had something in their history that is questionable. Some more than others. I think if you want to go back through history, you look at sort of the way that sport has been used as a vessel for allowing these sort of despots or questionable regimes to showcase their country. For me, I actually look at the positive in this and saying that, look at the story of the sheikh taking the guy to the house for a beer. I think the media this creates clicks and content. I think the media like to ham it up and make it an issue. I think the BBC's coverage yesterday was a disgrace. The opening ceremony, I come to watch football, not politics. It was basically a watered down version of Newsnight. Look, the one thing that grates me, but I'm a hypocrite because I watch the World Cup. People have died building these stadiums that won't be used again. Now, you can have a moral stand on it, but I'm still watching the games. I'm still interested in it.
Wankers like Brewdog who come out there.
Yeah, your mates at Brewdog. I think that's a sponsorship opportunity down
their flag, putting up signs everywhere, gaining their PR media stunts, and they're still serving beer in their pubs for people to watch it. It's just I think that there's a lot of talk about this because I think it creates a narrative. You got to think there's 32 countries going to the World Cup. It's a lot of content to create. I think that we have a media in today's day and age that is all about clicks and all about creating a narrative, pushing the narrative to the nth degree, and then moving on to the next narrative. And it really just winds me up because at the end of the day,
you end up talking more about the politics than the football. Look, we know Qatar was up to no good with their dealings of getting the World Cup. That should, the World Cup shouldn't. But the World Cup shouldn't be there based on the facts we know. However, we can't control that as fans. All fans can do is go with an open mind, and then you look at the secondary argument that the Middle East is hosting a major tournament, where people may not have ever been to the Middle East before, and they go and experience another culture and another, another way of life. And actually, you'll find that I would say 90% of fans that come back from Qatar will say it was a positive experience. So for me, that's a positive. Now, yes, there is a lot of baggage with this World Cup. But what do you want to focus on? Do you want to focus on the sport and the beauty of the game and the beautiful game? And you can search and find arguments for, mostly against the World Cup. But actually, as fans, yet again, we're the ones punished because our sport that we passionately follow, love, enjoy, talk about, create content for, and all the rest of it is marred in stuff that's not really relevant to us. We're never going to be in a position to ever execute change, or me not turning the telly on isn't going to change Qatar's human rights or bring the lives of the people that died building the stadiums back, or change. You've got to think this. The Muslim culture. Homosexuality is a massive issue. Okay, that is top and bottom of it. You're not going to change their mind. This is a culture that's indoctrinated and passionately follows a way of life for thousands of years. And all of a sudden, because we're playing our sport in their country, people think, we should be doing this, we should be having a beer. But I guarantee you, the same ones moaning about not having a beer are the same ones moaning about greater issues in their own country in terms of they shouldn't be doing this or that. You know what I mean? You can't have it both ways. You can't force your culture on a place that is so far removed from anywhere in Western Europe. That's my personal view on it. Now, do the footballers all go on holiday to Dubai? Yes. Does Harry Kane wear rainbow shorts when he's swimming around in the Burj Al Arab? No.
I find the.
You know what I mean?
I find the football. I think it's twofold. Though. I don't think it's a footballer's responsibility. But
it's not their fault, and that's what I'm saying.
The whole thing today, the nonsense spiel with the armband, was just ridiculous. If they really wanted to make that stance, they should have done it. It's a yellow card. You take it the first.
Yeah, and it showed how strongly they felt is they didn't want to take a yellow card. So when it's personal,
exactly. Football comes first, and I don't blame them though. But the thing is, I'm bored by listening to the nonsense that goes along with it, that we need to do this, we need to do that. Just concentrate on the football. And I don't think I've got any issue with anyone doing that. It's like your Gary Neville's who sit there and tell everyone else, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad, and they go.
But he makes a career on this. And he's got ambitions to be the man that sits on the moral high ground.
Right, he'll be politics, won't he, and all that.
Yeah, but that's fine, and good luck to him. But I want to watch the football. If I wanted Gary Neville's political opinion, I would go search for that. But when I want to watch football,
could say they also might be saying the same here. So let's touch on the football then.
But to finish off, look, we know the issues there. I think the one thing that grates me is how the LGBTQ plus issue is an issue in today's society. I have friends that are gay. I'm sure you have, and it doesn't. I just don't understand how that features in today's conversation. But that's because we're obviously a lot more open as a society. But I just feel like it sends the issue backwards, because it actually, the way the media cover it opens up opportunities for people to sort of have a polar opposite negative opinion and get away with it. That's my opinion. I think the coverage is a joke. But yeah.
That's classic BBC. So as we sit here, USA just gone 1-0 up at half time against Wales. Big result in our group. Obviously, let's talk upon England first after the game, I think, wouldn't you? Obviously today 6-2. Sick to be Iranian, as somebody said. Obviously cracking result, cracking performance. I think that goes from the off. Obviously the game was a bit of a weird one with the head injury and stoppage and startage.
Head injury is doing it injustice. The bloke literally, conked him sent out. He had a big snout to begin with, but by the end of it, he didn't have a nose. England were brilliant.
What do you make of the team to start with? Is it
well balanced? I think we've been crying out for a long time to play play more positive against these sort of teams. I think for me the positive it was we looked like we could break this team down. I think how many times you watch Nation Leagues where we're passing around, it's boring. Yeah, well, it's not even that Phillips. I think he's given a role to do, and he does it well. But you look at sort of when you have a back five. The midfielders have to then cover the defenders, which creates space, which then sort of negatively affects the way the midfielders can sort of come on and push on the centre backs. I think my worry was Iran are a big physical team and they have a couple of good players. We're going to get caught out at the back, but we did concede a couple of goals, but at sort of 5-0 at one point, you're going to switch off, aren't you? Let's be honest. The game's won and done.
Yeah, I think it was 4-0, 4-1, 6-1, 6-2. Obviously, the final goal.
Your mate Rashford scored?
Yeah, I mean, such a donkey, isn't it? He goes wide.
Yeah, it looked it.
The defender goes slipping like it's wild.
I think you'll find he chopped it onto his weaker foot and passed it in the net. But anyway,
well, you're a United fan now, are you?
No, I think.
I mean, he's just not a very good footballer.
That's your opinion. That's your opinion.
Well,
I think.
I'd say I'm paid to give my opinion, but unfortunately, no one's offering us any money for this. But,
yet, well, Brewdog won't anyway.
I mean, you look at. Saka,
I'll drink Brewdog if you pay me.
The shining lights for seeing that team, the young lads. Especially Saka and Bellingham. Like obviously Bellingham, 19 years old. The stature and the posture he possesses is awesome. Obviously, we've seen him for Dortmund this season, the Champions League. I know he's been in other seasons, but he's kind of come of age this year more than others. He's scored 4 and 4 in the Champions League in the first 4 games. He's obviously got 5 or 6 in the Bundesliga. He's flying high and he just looks the part. I mean, I know you saw him years ago and you said when he was 16, you said this lad's special. And he really is. He's I know in a
very poor Birmingham side.
How many times have we watched quality players who haven't performed on the big stage? I mean, I know we talk about Wayne Rooney when he was a young player, but other than that, and Owen before that, but that was before our time. There hasn't really been a young player that's lit up a tournament. Obviously, we were all hoping last time it was going to be Foden or whatever, but he just looked to cut above. Yeah,
I mean, to bring on Foden and Grealish and Rashford, towards the tail end of the game and Wilson. I mean, what a story that is. But yeah, I think Bellingham is the captain sometimes at Dortmund now. He's only 19. It's scary how good he can be, but I think you can just tell he's got a good head on his shoulders. I know that's a really simplistic way of looking at it, but as a midfielder, I think actually half the battle is football intelligence and genuinely how you carry yourself. Rice carries himself well. You never see really Rice in the papers doing anything wrong. You've never heard a bad story about Bellingham, and I think actually moving to Germany was an amazing masterstroke. I think his dad sort of went and visited Man United and then went and visited Dortmund. I think that was just such a clever thing to do because if you're playing championship football at 15, you're going to be a good player. So to sort of develop his career the way he does, I think the trajectory is only up. I think you've got to judge him on the rest of the games. Now, given Iran was sort of at 6s and 7s, but the way he just absolutely carved them open in the second half was a thing of beauty.
The thing is that obviously we've played a lot of these teams in the past, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but we've had loads and loads of games.
We did beat Panama 6-1.
We did, but I'm on about before that.
Panama are nowhere near as good as Iran.
Years, and we haven't beaten these teams. We put them to the sword. We demolished them. Obviously, absolute quality performance. I mean, the likes of Sterling scored a great goal. Obviously, Saka was class. It really vindication in both selection. Obviously, the changes he made. I mean, it is Iran, and we should win that game. Whether we should win,
but they came second in their group. I think Iran were no mugs. I think Iran were a tricky opposition. I think now we can play attacking football against a negative side. Let's see how we get on against the USA on Friday when we're playing a more positive side with pace and genuine quality in some areas. I think the USA will be a tougher opposition.
You have the USA top on with all your leads.
Well, I mean, I'm pleased for Tyler Adams to get the captaincy. He showed a lot of sort of leadership, especially when we weren't doing well. He would always front up to the media. So, when Liam Cooper calls it a day, I wouldn't be surprised if he actually became captain of Leeds. But again, he's been in Germany and sort of gone through the Red Bull system, and you can tell that Bellingham obviously hasn't gone through the Red Bull system, but the way that German midfielders are sort of wanted to play is that they're encouraged to be more positive. But yeah, I think the USA. And they're a bit of a bogey team to us because I think do you remember the 2010 World Cup? No, it was Rob Green.
Rob Green.
Yeah.
Joe out of the Wales one.
Once shared a taxi with Rob Green.
Really?
Yeah.
What did he say?
Not a lot. He lived in Harrogate and he was getting back to Harrogate from a Leeds game, yeah. He lives in Spain now.
Does he?
Yeah, apparently he was going to get called up as a free agent for Harrogate Town, but then they rang him up and he said, I live in Spain now, so I can't play for you. He's 42, he's been retired 3 years. Fun fact. Anyway, Rob Green's shite, so...
I mean, we've had enough keepers. That's the same thing again, mate. I mean, you look at... We had Green, Pickford, James, Seaman. I know Seaman never know or rave about, but there's no one that's ever been better than Jordan Pickford for England.
Yeah.
Categorically. I mean, yeah, maybe Gordon Banks, but...
And actually, I think the positive for this is a lot of fans love to jump...
Peter Shilton.
I mean, you keep naming them, don't mean out to me. I only bothered about this World Cup, but the positive for me is how England fans actually realise that Pickford, he might not be the best for Everton at times, but actually he's never done anything wrong for England yet. And actually, if you look at the players waiting in the wings, you've got Nick Pope and Ramsdale. Ramsdale for me is the weakest of the three, and I think he's number 3. But Pope has been an excellent keeper for Burnley for many years. And also just touching on that, look at how many players have played in the EFL. You look at sort of the Man City and sport washing and money at the top of the sport, but actually from a genuine England point of view, you've got Grealish playing Championship week in, week out for Villa. You've got Bellingham, Ramsdale Kane played for Sheffield. Kane went to Ipswich on loan.
Maguire,
yeah,
there's a lot of them that have come through the system.
Phillips,
but that is
Trippier.
I mean, so it should. That's the breeding ground.
John Stones, Barnsley.
The likes of the elite players like Trents and your Fodens that come through and Saka.
Yeah, I know. So you've just managed to wangle Trent as an elite player. I'll ignore it.
Ballon d'Or nominated 3 times.
Yeah.
In England.
Well, Mendy won Ballon d'Or Keeper of the Year, and he was absolute gash today. So that says a lot. Well, he's had a very bad game.
Where England going?
After one game, I think the positives are we can score. And you need to score goals to win tournaments. Breaking news, Michael Owen type. But no, it has been
put your feet. This is No Splinters. Where are we ending up?
Semi-finals.
So who's winning them?
Argentina.
Who are your favourites?
I put a bet on Argentina.
Don't get the Argentina.
So right, there's no hype, right? I listen to a podcast, athletic podcast, right? Yeah, but this is a good bit of knowledge. So and then there's 2 facts. The Ben Foster podcast, he had the goalkeeper coach from Villa, Martinez, as coach, went out to Argentina, and he said he's never seen a more together international team than Argentina.
They've won it.
Right? So that's your first bit of knowledge, and he said, right? Messi's last World Cup.
Irrelevant.
Not all.
It is irrelevant. Well, it's Ronaldo's last World Cup.
Messi's last World Cup. The boys all want to play well, and they have a genuine striker in Martinez this time that's going to help take the burden off Messi. They've got a good goalkeeper. They've got a good midfield. I think Argentina's problem for a lot of years
Where are these good players in Argentina?
We'll go at the squad now, and I'll tell you.
I don't see it. I mean, you talk about Martinez. I mean, I saw him at Anfield last year. Looked a decent enough player. I mean, is Di Maria? I looked at their squad the other day, and I just went through the side, and I was like, I'm just not rating it. We'll get it up.
Rodrigo de Paul, Atletico Madrid midfielder, but you only need.
They've got the lad at City, Alvarez, don't they? The backup.
Mm-hmm.
He's a good player. Di Maria's still hanging around. I mean, Otamendi, Romero.
Yeah,
I'm not.
Paredes. If you don't watch much sort of foreign football, but
I don't know.
Paredes, good player.
Yeah. You are big into your football, aren't you?
Yeah.
Tomori, but that's a different topic.
I would have picked Tomori, and I think that's still justified given the way that teams are going to sort of play on the break. I think Tomori is a very good defender. I mean.
I just don't see it, mate. I just don't see how you. If you
that's fine. That's fine. But the bookies have them as second favourites at 11-2.
The bookies are often wrong.
I think France are depleted through injury.
It's Brazil. It's only Brazil.
But you can they rely on Thiago Silva. So he's played a lot of football in the last few years. Is he going to survive? Neymar's always got a blow up in him. You never know with the heat. And then the dark horses sort of watched the Netherlands game just then 2-0.
Not a chance.
No, I'm not saying they're going to win, but I'm just saying.
Talking about Senegal?
No, I mean Senegal. They don't have Mane, and that's the end of their tournament really before it started.
England get through. They play Senegal or one of those other sides.
Netherlands.
Last 16. Netherlands win the group. So
I hope Netherlands win the group.
Well, they will do. They've just beaten Senegal. I mean, they've got. You saw Qatar. I mean, that goalkeeper.
Yeah, but then we've got to play someone like bloody Ecuador.
I feel disabled.
He was very questionable. I tell you what though,
Terror keeper in this competition.
I mean,
I don't see how England don't get to the quarter-final. And obviously France, if they win their group and win the last.
Well, I think we could beat France.
I think we can beat France. I look at the French team, and you're going Mbappe and Benzema and two.
Mbappe, well, Benzema's out, so he's done.
When did he go?
He got injured like yesterday.
Oh Jesus!
Yeah, so
breaking news as well. Really?
Yeah, he's out.
I would genuinely fancy us against France.
I think France are always going to pose a threat. They've got brilliant goalkeeper, brilliant defence.
Who's their brilliant goalkeeper?
Well, Lloris, he's the same.
Oh my lord!
Well, you're telling me Lloris hasn't been a brilliant goalkeeper?
Lloris is a brilliant goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I've heard it all.
Yeah, he is. So I mean, look,
these glasses.
These glasses can,
Lloris
just think how good I would have been in goal if I'd have played with glasses
terrible.
on.
He is awful.
He's not.
He is like legitimately.
They've got Defont and Areola as well as backup, so they've got plenty. They've got plenty of class. But he's never done anything wrong for France, and he's a World Cup winning goalkeeper. Don't forget, and that means a lot of experience. Obviously, pays out. Well, he's won the World Cup. He's won everything he can. He's a Champions League semi-finalist.
He hasn't won it. He's a Champions League finalist. Runner-up, not won it.
Yeah, he's still got there, and he's a goalkeeper that's played for Spurs for many years. Yeah, okay, well that's fine. You see him have an absolute masterclass, and then you'll come running back saying, "Yeah, you're right. You know goalkeeping better than me."
Well, you do a Tuesday night wonder, don't you?
Yeah.
France. I mean,
I tell you what, I was going to apply for some Qatari citizenship.
After that,
mate, I fancy myself in the sticks.
You want a few
Qatar.
quid? You do love a brown envelope,
mate. Tell you what. You call me the Sepp Blatter of goalkeepers. If he offered me a few quid, I'd be there. It was pointed out to me by a few people that the heat might be an issue, though.
Yeah, well, especially with that beard.
Well, I was thinking more the padding around around the body.
It could be.
But no, it's not jumper weather in Qatar.
Surface area, though. No, it's not jumper weather.
Yeah, but I honestly, that keeper, if that's the best they can do. He was the only Qatari-born player as well, which was quite funny.
It reminded me of watching you behind the sticks. But no, I think this. I know what you say about Argentina, but I don't see it. I really don't. I think this tournament coming down to 4 teams. I mean, France and England. I think the winner of that quarter final, which I'm sure it will be, for me, is a big favourite of the tournament. And I think obviously Brazil and Argentina, if the draw goes as it should do, would meet each other. I see Brazil as the strong side and the strongest team on that side of the draw. And I think Portugal, mate. I think Portugal. I don't just ignore the Ronaldo factor. Yeah, I look at it, and they've got the makers of a really strong Man City team. They've obviously got
2 Man City players.
Cancelo.
Yeah, Cancelo and Bernardo Silva.
Yeah. And
Ruben Diaz. Yeah.
3 teams and you do see this connection. Obviously, the left side of defence will probably be the Man City defence. These things,
much like Maguire and Shaw today.
Yeah, exactly. But I'd have played Maguire and Shaw. But let's not compare Man City to Manchester United. I think they've got to make it a really, really strong team, and
they've got a good left back.
You've said that you can't use the argument on Messi and not Ronaldo. I mean, both of them have won their continental.
Do you play Cancelo on the left or the right?
I would play him on the left, but only because he plays down for Man City, and I think that's his strength. But
the young. Well, their other left right back player plays for PSG. Yeah, he plays for PSG, Mendes. Right. And he's had a good season. Oh. And he's an absolute rocket. He's a rocket, and they have a good keeper actually, who was the old Wolves keeper that went and they've got a good team. But I think if you look at the Portuguese, No Splinters, obrigado to you, whoever you are, they'll be saying the same about England in terms of the strength and depth and the players.
I think they're thereabouts. Obviously, hopefully we can see Southgate do wonders once again.
And I think Southgate will. How many?
Let's hold judgment.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he probably is a good man. He's an honourable man. I think if he wants to step back and maybe work in the FA and earn the gravy train and probably be the chairman of the FA one day.
He has a good tournament. He goes out on a high, or he probably isn't going to end in disaster now, is it? No,
they're
not going out in the groups.
No.
We shouldn't. looking at Qatar, Senegal, and Ecuador, I don't think any of them are going to give us any trouble.
Yeah, and Hakpo looked decent for Netherlands today. It was brilliant. Ali McCoy saying he doesn't see it, and then the next minute he scores. And he's one that got away. Leeds tried to sign him and butchered it, and ended up not signing him. And now he's probably going to go to an elite club, which is a shame.
So we got the USA game Friday, and obviously the rest of the World Cup. So we'll be more informed, won't we, in a week or two's time?
Yeah.
See who's the strength and depth, and who's going to win the World Cup. And obviously Argentina may well be out in the group stage after losing Saudi Arabia in the first game.
Yeah, the hotbed of football, Saudi Arabia is going to beat one of the most.
Yeah, but how much they've been paying Messi.
Well, Ronaldo offered 330 million to go play in Saudi Arabia. Do you see that?
It now, wouldn't you?
Your mate Piers.
Yeah.
I tell you what, mate. One day you'll be having a show like Piers Morgan, I reckon.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't want to, mate.
No.
Got a business to look after. We
Yeah.
don't need to do the media world. It's your domain.
Ah, man, I'm too busy saving the polar bears these days, mate.
Yeah, you are.
I am. Shaking hands with all the great and good. Saving the planet.
You're a good man, really, aren't you?
Yeah, I tried to be.
You know what they say about you, Alf. You are all right.
Anything else great in your has?
A few bits and bobs, but maybe not for the podcast.
Well, it has been noted that you are a taken man, so congratulations on that.
Thank you, mate.
Don't let us sober up, as a famous Beckwith Shaw player once said to you. No, so that's obviously been a factor in the lack of content.
Oh, mate, I'm a working man. You know me.
But
very busy at the moment.
Did you carbon offset your trip to Antigua?
Did I what?
Did you carbon offset your flights to Antigua?
Oh yeah. Well, you know what us, mate. We're a sustainable environmental business.
Yeah.
We reuse tents and we give them to donate them to charity at the end of the cycle. I mean, yeah. Look at us.
Yeah. Honourable men.
Antigua swam there.
Did you?
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Right.
Some man. I mean the content was great. I think for the ladies that want to listen and watch, there's a few Daniel Craig sort of pics of ours in the sea and all the rest of it. So yeah, I tell you what, if you've got a dodgy heart watching Leeds, don't want to look at them either. Nah, mate. Honestly, right, we'll try and build this back. I will do my best to get everything sorted. And we'll try and get some guests along the way, but we're not going to try and do it.
We were supposed to have a third party, weren't we? But
he's pissed. He's in a pub drinking Jaeger bombs, singing about German bombers.
Mate. Hopefully we obviously enjoy it and chew the fat, chat some shit. Let's be fair. But some people enjoy it, some people don't. But
the main thing is I enjoy it as,
and
that's all that matters in life.
That's good. I mean, I will be your number two. I will look after you.
No, it's an equal partnership. But obviously you've been a man that sort of works in two locations.
I'm a man around, mate. I can't guarantee.
The logistics of we've had to change things up, but honestly, has right. We'll cover this World Cup and then straight back to it. 28th of December, back to the Premier League, and it's like we've never left us.
Yes, sir.
All the best. God bless.